Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. Welcome to Saturday edition of the Afridamus Report. Hey, MC, welcome in the house. I want to welcome all of you to the Afridamus Report. I'm going to be opening up the lines later on for people to call in and contribute to this amazing show that we're going to be having here. People, let me tell you something that most people don't want to talk about, okay? This quote unquote Pan-Africanist thing and the psychological warfare that's been waged against Black people in America, especially Black Americans to be specific. Because you see, every story, especially when written in a book, if you only read the cover on both sides, you cannot get the full scope of what is actually happening in the book. You have to read the whole chapter. So over here at the Afridamus Report, people, you know, I've had people that say, you know, Afridamus, you are being hateful towards Black people because I gave you just a tiny silver of the story, just a tiny silver of the story. But before I even get past the introductory part of the story, people started getting upset because they don't understand where the story is going. This is not just any mere story. This is an actual story. Because you see, here in America, the media is in charge of pretty much everything. And there's no group of people that consume the media more than Black Americans. And the enemies, the invincible enemies that are against Black people, especially in America, they take that opportunity to brainwash, to use propaganda against Black people. And we are all seeing that effect. Because if you look at it in America, Black people, majority Black neighborhoods, is the only place where Black people themselves don't have control over it. Other people can just come in and set up shops with no problem. But I've been doing lots and lots of observation over years, and I've watched the drastic change. You know, I'm sure some of you have heard Black people talk about, you know, gentrification and stuff like that. But the reality is the people that try to talk about it, they are coming from a place of anger and emotion. They don't really understand what is happening. You know, they see it unraveling, but they really don't understand. So their anger is misdirected because they are being bombarded with constant propaganda. And the very people doing that, the enemies of Black people, they come as friends. They've convinced Black people to just identify as skin color, to say all skin folks are kin folks. But you know, not all skin folks are kin folks. And I'm going to break that down here today. That would take us into the Wakandan city. Because the lady that I'm featuring, Dr. Arikana, you have Juliet of Black State. She is a disciple of her. I've featured Akon, the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo, and a Ashanti chief. There's a reason why I featured all that, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm also going to talk about reparations. I know many people probably don't know my stance on reparations. I've joked about it here and there, but I'm going to give you my stance on reparation today, people. Because if you look at it, even for instance, black people were brought here in America, their ancestors, 400 years ago, from the shore, west coast of Africa. Their ancestors. I want you to listen carefully. I said black people's ancestors. So if you were not one of the people whose ancestors were brought here, because if you weren't from that bloodline, then those people are not your ancestors. I want you to understand this. Because with this Pan-Africanist propaganda, what did the people, the enemies, the invincible enemies of Black Americans, who they are enemies of America, but the Black people have to be the first target. Ever since Black people were brought here in America during the Atlantic slave trade, which, by the way, the story that was sold to Black people today, the way they explain how their ancestors got here, we know it's a lie. They want to make it sound like the Africans on the other end, because they like to generalize it. You have to know it was a few elite people, a couple of business people who were engaged in selling humans as merchandise. This was an acceptable part of the world at some point. Believe this or not, it's one of the oldest trades. People are still doing that in Africa itself. Because Africa, the places that sold slaves, they've never given it up, okay? There was just no more buyers. The very white people that you say were evil, they were the ones that put a stop to it completely. But you see, the slavery was going on there for centuries and centuries, 500 years, mind you, 500 years prior to the Atlantic slave trade. There was the trans-Saharan slave trade, meaning they take people because, they would sell humans to the Arabs for salt and also gold in exchange. It wasn't only humans that the Africans were selling. They were selling, animal, elephant tusk, and a whole lot of different commodities. 40 horses. No, 40 Africans. This is going to blow your mind. 40 African for one Arabian horse. This is what some of these elites and chiefs were doing. They have zero regard for human beings. So for people that are saying, oh, Africa has been, brain drained, the resources have been depleted. This has been going on for thousands of years. For some reason, the people that they put in charge have no problem selling human beings. It's still happening. I am not telling you something that you don't know. Maybe you see it, but you don't understand what is taking place. 500 years, trans-Saharan slave trade. Then another 500 years, the Atlantic slave trade. Finally, the white Europeans put a stop to it. In fact, some of the Africans who were engaged in slavery took up arms against the Europeans. But now the descendants of those people in America, they are told, oh, your ancestor was just free, walking down the beach somewhere on the west coast of Africa or Central Africa, and the white people came and kidnapped them. Yes, there were kidnappings that happened, but it wasn't from white people, because the people who were sold into slavery, they're usually from the interior country of whatever region they are coming from. So if white people or other nationalities cannot go into that interior, how did these human beings make it to the coast and be put on those slave ships? Those castles that they sell to you for you to come and visit, have you ever sit back and ask yourself, how did the Europeans build this? Who was collecting rent? Who were the people in charge? It was a whole system, but nobody is telling you these things. This is where I come into play, because I'm not going to try to continue the propaganda that they are making you participate in to destroy yourself. Brought those Africans here, and the Africans toiled. They toiled day and night, dehumanized, treated any kind of way in the killing fields of the southern United States. So that continued on for over 250 years. For 250 years. And they said finally, okay, now we found God. We shouldn't enslave these people. We shouldn't take their freedom. Now let's treat them as free people. But were the blacks really free? Were they really free? Because you see, you can sign something and say, oh, you're free, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are a free person. It's just a document. How are the people treating you? But despite that, the resilience of those blacks, they continue to fight to restore their humanity and human dignity. Mind you, the way the black people of today in America, the way they ended up here is because somebody sold their ancestors. Somebody waged wars on them and sold them into slavery. So, do you want to tell me you would be more likely to blame the buyer, the person who just showed up and bought goods? You would blame that person over the person that is selling. Is that what you're telling me? But this is the story that they want to sell. Now we fast forward. Black people were not fully free until after the 60s. Until after the 60s. So now they live in a country that is the richest country in the world with the greatest economy. Now they are supposed to reap the benefits of what their ancestors toiled and fought for. We all know this. But black people have been bombarded with different types of propaganda, telling them, oh, we're going to call you colored, we're going to call you black, we're going to call you Afro. So it keeps changing all the way to the 80s, where Jesse Jackson, who knows, he shook hand with the devil. Because you see, every good movement that people come up with, the devil can infiltrate it and bastardize it. At one point, black people were united on this fact that they know they have a common enemy. When I say black people, I'm not talking about, when I say black, I want you guys to understand, I'm not including Africans and other foreign blacks who are not from the United States. I'm not talking about those blacks. I'm talking about blacks in America. Because you see, when blacks were brought here, they changed their names, they took away their culture, their ways, their mores, their religion, whatever they knew, completely erased. Within few generations, they couldn't identify as anything, no tribe, no nothing other than simply black. So that's what black people see each other as. Okay, you black, I'm black, we have a common enemy. But now, why is it that in the 80s, sometime in the 80s, because it started in the 60s, they call it the civil rights movement, the fight there, Lyndon B. Johnson, at the time the president, who did some backdoor deals with some of these so-called, civil rights leaders, and they signed into law saying, "Oh yeah, we have the civil rights bill." But now Lyndon B. Johnson made a promise that he would make sure these N-words vote Democratic for 200 years. For the next 200 years. Okay? And Jesse Jackson, mind you, was a fighter, in that civil rights era. He was a fighter during that time. So in the 80s, he started saying, "Oh, now we have to, refer to ourselves as African American." African American. White people don't walk around here calling themselves European American. Mind you, black people have been here way longer than most Europeans. Did you guys know this? Most Europeans came to Ellis Island in the early 1900s. Black people were here way prior to that. Okay? They were here before then. But now, why would somebody want black people to identify themselves as African American? Why do black people have to have prefix in front of it? This is where the plan has been in effect for generations. For generations. Because you see, in the 80s, they had the crack era. Yes, the government supplied the crack. But who do you think was distributing it to black people themselves? It's other blacks. See, if you want to destroy a group of people, when a foreign body comes, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. This is why I'm telling you that this slavery story that they sold you is a lie. Imagine a white person, a couple of white people walking into Africa back in those days, in any West African enclave, just walked in there, grabbing Africans. How do you think that's going to go? Really? How would this white person even know where to go? Was this white person talking to Suri? Like, what is happening? So that doesn't make sense to you, right? And it shouldn't. I know it's hard for many to accept this reality because it's easier. It's easier to just say the people that bought the slaves are the evil ones. But what about the ones that ripped them out of their homes and sold them? What about those people? You have to look at the genesis of all this. I'm not saying this for somebody to feel some type of way, have hatred towards someone. I'm speaking of things that happened hundreds of years ago. But you must know the truth and understand the agenda is still the same. It hasn't changed. They made black people start identifying as African American, telling you, "Oh, you're from Africa. You guys should go try to reconnect." I'm not saying you shouldn't go to Africa whatsoever, but most of you You have cousins, aunties, people that you know from the same bloodline. You don't even, they live 2 blocks down or a city over. You don't care about finding out about who they are. Or you have some long lost cousin in some city here in the States that you don't even care about going to look for. But oh, you are going to go look for complete strangers from a land where your ancestors were sold from. Oh, I'm here to reconnect with my cousins. And then some African shows up and say, yes, I am your cousin. How do you know those were not the same people, the same bloodline that sold your ancestors? How do you not know that? That's possible. It's a possibility. And that brings us to the Wakandan city. That brought us to the Wakandan city. Because when blacks were identifying as Pan-Africanists, they needed to do that because in America, the people that enslaved black people, they made it about race. That's what they made it about. Because they had people who were, whites that they were bringing from Europe. They were domestic servants themselves. They were an underclass. But what they did was they said, hey, look, you are better than these black people. So you are on team white. They are on team black. Because they knew if it's just those people connecting on a class level, they can unite against the forces that were enslaving both of them and taking advantage of them. But they were able to create a division and said, look, you might be in this condition, but it's only 7 years. You're better than these Africans. They are black. Your skin is better than them. So that's how it all came about. So black people understood this. When they see another black person, it's a direct connection that our suffering is based entirely on the people that look like us. That's what it was based on. Because at one point in the United States, in the South, they had the Jim Crow laws where you have the white section and the black section, white drinking fountains and black drinking fountains, black restaurants, black movies, like it was segregated. It wasn't the same. So black people's skin color was used as a marker of how they will be treated. So black people used that skin color as a power and started talking about black power, Pan-Africanism, uniting together. So you see, that's a good thing, right? Because when somebody is subjugating you, you will have to unite. You will have to unite, on something. Because the very thing that is used, the very identifier that is used to prosecute you, to dehumanize you, and you're a group, you would have to unite on it. So now those who have, evil intentions are like, look, these people are becoming too strong. They are becoming too strong with this. What can we do to destroy them? That's where the media comes into play. They started demonizing the Black Power movement, the Pan-Africanist movement. Mind you, that Pan-Africanist movement and that Black Power movement at the time, it wasn't about, uprooting from America, for black people to leave America and go to, Africa or wherever. They supported the plight of other black people outside of the United States that are under the yoke of the colonialists at the time. because they knew their plights are the same. When they started discovering, this is the problem all around the world with people that look like us. But it wasn't this movement saying, oh, we got to leave America and go move to Africa. It was for every black people to 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 work hard and strengthen their group wherever they are at. That's what it was about. But then you had people that had nefarious intention. They had to break that group because they don't want it to stand strong. Now they sent infiltrators, people to infiltrate the group and water it down, continue to water it down to where we are today, where it's entirely based on dashiki wearing. To dashiki wearing, and all you have to do is to be a Pan-Africanist is to wear your dashiki, your cowrie chains, and start convincing black people, not even convince, shaming them, to move to the place where their ancestors were ripped away from. But you want to tell black people in America, you have people like Dr. Arikana. I'm going to play her video here for you guys to hear. They want to use shaming language, shaming tactics. Mind you, black people have been here for hundreds of years now. Now you're telling them this is not their home. Their home is in Africa. Where in Africa? So you destabilize black people in America. If black people look around you, what is happening? Just look around. Everyone is being put above you. The LGBT, check. Illegal aliens, check. I'm about to tell you. You look at right now, what are they doing? This democratic government, they are working on giving $450,000, $450,000 to illegal aliens that entered the United States illegally. People, I'm talking illegally, not that these people, were invited. They broke the law. They entered the country illegally. And the United States government did what it was supposed to do. That is to deport these people out of the country. But they've spent years now, 3, 4, 5 years ago, telling you that one man is the white supremacist. He's evil. They got you to put your guards down. They got you to fight for everybody except you. When black people talked about reparation, mind you, let's just be honest. If they are going to pay reparations, if anybody that deserves reparation, it should be black people. Because black people were promised reparations until Andrew Jackson came and stopped that. Black people were promised 40 acres and a mule back in the days. They never received it. So this is why this reparation talk continues happening. So it's a big slap on black people's face. They keep saying, no, we don't have enough money for it. We can't give you reparation. But now, illegal aliens that entered the country illegally, they got deported. Now the government is saying, you know what? They were separated from their family. We got to give them money. So all those black people in prison, you don't think they were separated from their family? When you take those black people and put them in prisons, is their family coming there with them? We all know that is not the case. A big slap in black people's face. This very government that is using black people as a Trojan horse to promote all their degeneracy, you know. And in the meantime, they're killing two birds with one stone. Two birds with one stone. That's what they are doing, is to push black people to be a permanent underclass by elevating not just the LGBTQ, but they're elevating people who are not even United States citizens. Mind you, I'm not saying even permanent residents. These people have no identification. They crossed the border and they got deported as they should. So this is why I keep telling you, stop identifying as African American, African American. If you don't believe me, I'm going to play you a short clip how this term African American is being bastardized by the quote unquote even president. I want to play you a short clip for you to hear what this quote unquote president, he just went to go visit, you know, the evil Pope in the Vatican City. I want you to hear what he said. And, you know, people riddle me this when you hear this. What does he mean by this? Because even the reparation, they are brainwashing you to make. I've seen people with signs now, they're saying reparation to African people. Which African people are you talking about? Which African people? Black people, do you understand? If you accept calling yourself African and removing yourself from America, you're going to become a permanent underclass? They are watering down this movement. And if they say reparation for African people, guess what? Elon Musk is an African. He's from South Africa. That means he can claim reparation. Charlize Theron can claim reparation. So therefore, no reparation for anybody. But now you got people crossing the border. Just for simply crossing the border and they get deported, they said, you get 450,000 US dollars. So black people, not only are you not gonna get reparation, they are telling you, we're gonna take your money, and give it to other people just for simply breaking the law. Since when did this become a thing? Since when? I'm telling you, this term African American, the meaning is becoming completely lost. If you don't believe me, listen to this clip. What Biden says to the Pope here.
Thank you for that. He was a famous African-American baseball player in America.
He just told him that he is a famous African-American baseball player. What does he mean by that? This is a man that puts everything is about race with him. Is that code word for something? Because you guys do realize we're in, information warfare. It's like Third World War. You have a few group of people that created a fear for the world, for 240 countries, to shut down the whole world. So this is a warfare that is happening. And black people are being used to be destabilized. And now they're trying to reverse the Atlantic slave trade by convincing black people to move to Africa. Now Africa will be your home. They want you to go to, let's see, America said, I thought their reparation was Liberia. No. That's not true. That's not true. Liberia was it was a colony of this American society. That's a whole different ball game. But few other blacks less than 1 million, I think less than 200,000 wanted to relocate, and they took them there. So you cannot call that reparation. That's not reparation. Mind you, there is over 40 million Black Americans in America. So you cannot call those 100,000 or so as their reparation, you know? So now this very Biden went and spoke in a popular Black radio show and said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. And Black people, for me, I'm beginning to think maybe a lot of Black people didn't vote for him. That's what I'm beginning to think. Like, maybe they didn't vote for him, so now they want to bring in a new class to replace Black people. Because why would he be telling the Pope, oh, he's a popular African American baseball player? Unless that is code word for something. Unless that is code word for something. But people, before I get into this analysis here of this Dr. Arikana, who's from Zimbabwe, she's not American. She's representing herself as the leader of Pan-Africanism. She wants Black people in America. She wants to shame, ridicule them for them to come to Africa, to a country, because she's promoting this quote-unquote Wakanda city. Mind you, this city is from a comic book, and they made it into a movie. Comic book city, right? So Black people, think about this. Why are they trying to sell you movie stuff, comic book ideas? They don't do this to any other group of people, but they are doing it to you. If they want to invest, they want investment. They're not telling you what you are investing into. They're telling you move to these countries. Mind you, these are poor countries. You don't have freedom of speech. You're going to be a second-class citizen there. You will not have the right to even vote. Your voice means nothing. Why are they trying to tell you to uproot yourself from the land of your birth, where you have a voice, you have the right to vote, you have the right to speak, for you to just go find yourself in a situation that you can speak on? I'm not saying you can't visit. You can visit on your own and assess and make your judgment on your own. But when you have a group of people who are hell-bent on being your leader, trying to tell you, oh, come to this place, and this place, they are not from there. They can go convince actual Africans to go there. But have you ever asked yourself, how come they're not trying to, they cannot even say this to Africans? How come? But before I get into that, let me play the Pan-Africanist music here, and then we would get to this Dr. Arikana video, and then I will open up the lines. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to keep you waiting. Let me play this Dr. Arikana video and I will break it down. I'm going to point out things to you that you probably have missed out on, because you see, just as the Atlantic slave trade, it wasn't just like the white faces, they were the customers. The dealers were blacks, black Africans. So they're trying to lie to you, trying to make you feel like, oh, you should trust us. Yeah, I'm sure there were people that trusted some people and they ended up in the bottom of ships and found themselves on plantations in strange lands. They try to tell you, oh, you're living in a strange land, you are lost, just trying to make you hate where you came from. In the meantime, you yourself, you're seeing people willing to give an arm and a leg to come to the place where you are. Everybody's telling you to leave, but then they say it's racism, sexism, it's all these things. But why are they fighting for other people that look like you to come in through the front door, back door, side door, you name it? You need to wake up. I'm trying to help you see what they are doing here. This Dr. Arikana, what she's doing is like a MLM scheme. One of those MLM schemes. I'm sure some of you have seen the commercials or run into people that try to run those games on you. And you have Akon saying he's got his Akon City. But he's backed by the Chinese, right? And this Arikana also, they are backed by Chinese. You have Ghana's president, and then they said those chiefs, they said, oh, we apologize for slavery. Like I saw one video, this chief said, oh, we apologize for slavery. The enemy, they came and strong arm us. Really? Is that how it happened? So if they're still muddying the water and clouding the story for you, that should scare you, man. That should absolutely scare you. You have a Zimbabwean who we have no record of showing that they were participants in this Atlantic slave trade, like they were brought into it. But this woman is speaking, saying, oh, our ancestors. So this is why black people, don't allow people to fool you. Like, for instance, I'm black, but I don't think my ancestors is everybody else's ancestors because they are black. That's not reality. My grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, those are my great-great-grandfathers, my bloodline. So that you are black like me or somebody even from the same area, it doesn't mean it's the same thing. Use common sense. Like, family structures have not changed. It's the same thing. The people you're related to today, it was the same thing hundreds of years ago. It's, passed on from generation to generation. If your ancestors were not taken from Africa, you were born and raised there, that's where you guys have always been, how can you claim that, you come to America speaking about slavery and then talking about my ancestors were brought here? I know exactly the argument they are going to make. Oh, they are Africans like us, but how come they don't apply the same rules with other Africans? So a lot of things that when I'm explaining it, people tend to feel like, oh, you're creating divide. Look, if the truth is what is going to create the divide, so let it be. Let it be. We have to speak on these things, because I bet you if somebody had given those people the 411 like I'm giving you, the Atlantic slave trade would have never succeeded. So I don't want the reverse to happen again, because there is an agenda here. You have a woman, a Zimbabwean. You have another one, a British woman from England of Jamaican descent living in Gambia. She is doing the same thing. Her target seemed to be Black Americans. Look at who she's talking to in her videos. She's attaching herself to Black American stories. You don't think that's a problem? Because what you guys are doing, you just open up the floodgate. Oh, you Black, I'm Black, therefore we are related. You can't do that. You are being infiltrated. You are being infiltrated, and you need to open your eyes to it and see exactly what is happening. What is the focus to get you out of America? You do realize, you guys heard me talk about the Constitution of the Gambia here yesterday and made the argument about that. There's a reason why I present these arguments to you. Look, I'm a very reasonable person. Okay? I know how humans think. I am not naive about that. So this is why I'm presenting you the argument. Imagine the people who do not have the words, the level of understanding that I have for them to express these things. How do you think they would respond to these things? How do you think? It's not going to go well. They push you to go to countries that, in fact, they base most of their economy on being countries that receive aid from the place where you're coming from your tax dollars. Now they want you to move there. Let's hear Dr. Ari Kana.
I'm going to ask you about Wakanda 1, Ambassador Arikana, because I know that's something that's very dear to your heart, as if your heart has compartments and one thing is more dear than the other. But I know you've been working on this vision for quite some time.
Right. Wakanda 1, City of Return. It's people are not aware that no amount of money put into Africa can give us the desired Africa that we want.
Doesn't that mean then let people stay where, their money can give them the desired lifestyle they want? Wouldn't that be fair? But you're telling me right now, no amount of money, no amount of my hard-earned money, which I work for because I want to provide a desired lifestyle for myself. If I cannot get the desired lifestyle, why am I working? If I cannot get the desired lifestyle I want in the United States, why would I be here? These are the type of things you should be asking. But this woman is arrogant. She's like a real MLM scammer, people.
Look at healthcare. Today, Africa needs about 1.3 million doctors. If all the continental African doctors in the diaspora, all the African American doctors in the diaspora were to go home to Africa today, we're only going to meet about 30% of the need. What Africa needs, because of the brain drain out of Africa, the brain drain that started with the children of Africa coming out of Africa over 400 years ago as slaves, followed by those who left in search of greener pastures.
Okay. The Africans 400 years ago who was sold into slavery. See how she skipped that part? Sold. Those human beings were used as merchandise. And today their, descendants live in the greatest economy and the richest country in the world. So now you want to reverse it and make it about economy again. People, let me tell you something. If you listen to the language that is being used here, first, slavery was entirely based on money. Mind you, the people they sold into slavery, they were seen as merchandise. But now, again, this is why I called it the Atlantic slave trade in reverse. What they are telling you is all based in economics. They are telling you, hey, look, you live in this country, in America, this powerful country, big economy. We need you to take that money and bring it here. Hey, why aren't they promoting it to Haiti, Jamaica, all those islands, the Latin countries? Those were Africans too. Why only the United States? Because they want to make money off of you again, double dipping. They sold your ancestors and made money. Now they want to make money off of you again. Hey, nobody's going to tell you this, but I will tell you the facts. They're trying to use emotion to make money off of you. Talking about Wakanda City, a story from a comic book. A comic book. Now they want to treat you like you are such a child, a brainless child. They're not saying anything here to show it is about, uniting with where, quote unquote, your ancestors came from. It is about economy. Talking about the brain drain of Africa. What is these African countries doing? The governments that you are collaborating with, what are they doing? Are they providing and fostering the environment for the smart Africans to be able to practice their profession? Are you doing that? Oh, but you want people to better themselves and then you guys reap the benefit. That's not how life works. When you treat people like individuals, when they do good for themselves, it's for them. And from that point on, they get to decide what they want to invest that energy and skills into. You don't get to decide for them just because saying, "Oh, we all black." What did you do for that person? But people, I want you to listen. She's going to use shaming tactics against black people in America. Because if it's about truly just to bring, quote unquote, the descendants of slaves to Africa, hey, Haiti could use some help right now. I'm sure a lot of Haitians can come to that Wakanda city. I'll be surprised if that Wakanda city is just going to remain in a comic book form. I promise you this. I promise you.
That brain drain has left Africa without the capacity that Africa needs for us to build the Africa that we want. The same shortage in healthcare. There are more Ghanaian doctors in New York City than in the entire country of Ghana. President Nana thought,
Really?
Absolutely. He thought by building more hospitals, by renovating old ones, that's how he would improve healthcare. Well, guess what he found out? Half of those wards were sitting empty, not because there were no patients, but because there were no doctors. There are more Nigerian doctors in Los Angeles than in the entire country of Nigeria. And yet we, the diaspora doctors, we sit back and say, I went home and my mother couldn't have access to a good doctor, couldn't have access to a good hospital. Duh, because you're in New York City and you're in Los Angeles. Wake up and smell the coffee.
Yeah. You're going to try to shame people. Yeah, sure. The president of Ghana built or renovate hospitals. So yeah, I'm going to leave my job as a doctor I'm going to leave my job as a doctor, right? Where I'm making 200,000 a year to go make what? Less than 40 grand probably a year in a depleted hospital where I can't even get the things I need to be able to be a good doctor. I mean, some of these people are delusional. She is delusional. I don't know where she's getting these numbers from, but it's mind blowing. So she's saying if you leave Africa to exercise and sell your skills, oh, look at that. Her herself, why isn't she in Zimbabwe? She's speaking this nonsense from the United States. She's living in the United States while trying to chastise people. Zimbabwe could use her help, but what is she doing in the United States? See, you have to push back on idiots like her. Just because the person has the doctor acronym means absolutely nothing, because she's an idiot.
The same is true in education. The educators are outside Africa. The engineers are outside Africa. What Africa needs is capacity building. Wakanda One City of Return is going to be pillared on an educational center of excellence and a healthcare center of excellence to do nothing but train the capacity that Africa needs. So we no longer have to depend on the Chinese coming in with their expertise, the Europeans, the Middle Easterners, the Indians. The reason the heads of states are going to these outsiders is because the capacity that we need is not in Africa. Today, as we speak, there isn't a single African country that has the capacity to build an airport. There isn't a single African country.
And all these things you're saying, they like to tell us, oh, what is not in Africa? Whose fault is that? I thought you guys have people in charge like yourself and others who say you guys are smart people, you can make this happen. But what do you guys do? All you care about is power. The things you are saying. How is this regular citizens, regular Ghanaians who left Ghana for better lives? What's that have to do with the Ghanaian government's incompetence? Absolutely nothing. Essay, don't worry, I'm going to drop the link here in a second. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. So she's trying to play on your emotions. Play on your emotion. Oh, come to Wakanda City. Next thing you know, it's going to be a bunch of people crying. Oh, I sent my money to Dr. Arikana. By the way, who's not even Ghanaian? She's from Zimbabwe. I don't understand some of these quote-unquote Pan-Africanists who like to promote these other countries, places that they are not from. They want you to leave the United States of America. Look, let me tell you something. Do not leave the United States because you are pissed off at white people or because you think your life is hard. If you think your life is hard now, try one of those countries. I see people running saying they're going to Sierra Leone. Good luck to you. These places are unstable. Their economies is at toilet level. Go see how the people are living. Do you not have eyes? All you have to do is uplift and elevate yourself here in the United States. You can do that. The opportunities are there for you to see. It's here. You see people running, coming up here. A lot of those people looking at you like you're crazy. They want to tell you to invest in a fantasy. That's what this is. You're the one who don't know what you got, but you see the snakes that know what you got. They are trying to separate you from it. And what you don't know in a lot of these African countries, you better read the clause. You're going to mess around and say, oh, I'm going to be a citizen. You're going to lose your citizenship in America and you can't come back. You would have to do like Jose and go through the border. Good luck to you. So you guys better watch out. If you're going to visit these places, be wise. Do not sit here and start talking about, oh, I hate the US. Because what do? They use fear tactics. You notice they only point the negative side. But let's look at, the positive sides of the US. Like these people are talking to you as if this Wakanda city is like Africa is like the actual Wakanda city in the movie. You guys do realize that's not real, right? This is not real. Hey, look, I'm not going to lie to you. You see me here personally? If I was never from Africa, if I was never from there, I don't know people from there, I never experienced it, I highly doubt if I would have ever had any interest to even visit. I'm just keeping it real. I have nothing against Africa, but I'm just telling you the truth. I know some are going to pretend, oh man, I can't believe you said that. I'm just telling you the truth. If I was never from there, not related to people, I highly doubt if I would even have any interest to go. I highly doubt it. So I'm just telling you the facts here. Take it how you like, but this is what the truth is. I mean, it's for some people and it's not for others. If it's not for you, don't allow people to shame you. Literally think about how stupid this is. People are telling you to hate the place where you came from, where you were born, all your families. They're telling you this. Oh, it is brain drain, if Africans come to the US or other places. But you're telling American citizens to leave America to go to Africa. But that is not brain drain, right? These people don't make sense.
That has the capacity to build a railway line. United, however, we have an abundance of capacity to do that. It all goes back again to that unity of purpose. Diaspora. One president asked me, what problems do you, diaspora, have in coming together, pulling your finances together so you can build the next airport? Pulling your finances together.
Why should ordinary people, ordinary citizens, why should I put my money with somebody to build an airport? What is the purpose of the government? Why do the country even have a government? You guys realize all these people are saying, you realize, I said it in an interview on the Kinganda channel. I said some of these African countries need to be recolonized. I said the white people left too early, and people said, oh, Afridamus, you are mean whatsoever. But all she's saying is, we are incompetent. We don't know how to do things for ourselves. We need, since the white people, we can say, come back and recolonize us. Let's shame the people that have proximity to white people and tell them to put their money together. So I'm supposed to work. Joe Blow also supposed to work, put their money together and build the airport. What happened to the revenues? What happened to all those resources that you guys talk about? What happened to it? The Africans you're trying to get to put their money together, we're like, hey, adios, you can keep all that stuff. Goodbye. But let's continue with this woman's nonsense before I open the lines.
So you can buy that gold mine. Pulling your finances together so you can invest in Africa, go back home to the United States, go back home to Europe, play golf like they do while your money is working for you in Africa.
Did she tell us what to put the money in? Say, buy the gold mine. Oh, if the government wants us to come there, why don't they just open up the gold mines? Oh, but you're telling us about things that the government in these places are super corrupt. We all know this. They probably have signed deals with 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 foreign companies. They don't even own these mines, but she is enticing you. People, if you want to invest, you got the money, put your money in cryptocurrency, okay? That's what the stock market is here for. It is a gold mine. Enter your money there. What is she? KSA, why is she shouting? Oh, that's a way of, trying to, mind fuck people so that they don't have the time, to think. Yeah, so she's telling you, take your money, come with somebody together, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep my money. Why do I like is she now a investment expert? Why do we have all this quote unquote pan-Africanists? Why do they have so much expertise in how to tell other people how to spend their money, how to invest it, but somehow they have no way of showing you how to make it? They, when you're trying to make it, they are nowhere to be found whatsoever. But they want to come and tell you, hey, look, this is how you spend it. Help me build a school, airport. Like, okay, what am I, the president? If you are asking us to do all this, why do they have a president? And by the way, what country is this going to be built in? Because Africa is not a country, it's a continent with several different countries. So you asking me, just because I'm African, I should take my money and go build it in Zimbabwe or in Nigeria, even though I'm not from there? How's that going to benefit me? These people are not making sense. Oh, but you should give it as charity. Oh, God will bless you because you're black and they are black. That doesn't make sense. Put your money. If you got extra money, put it in cryptocurrency, people. I'm not giving you, advice on which one, but you can go online without this crazy yelling woman telling you what to do. Hit the stock market. You will know what to put your money in. You will be way, way better off and safe. You would be able to see where your money is. When they say gold mine in Africa, that means the money is going to disappear. You don't want to do that to yourself. I'm just telling you. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Simple math. But I cannot tell you, Sister Gina, the number of people, African Americans. But we African Americans are different. Huh. How are you different, my brother?
But yes, Black American, like you say, African American, you want to call them? Yes, they are different. They are not African. They are American. But let's hear how she's about to shame them. Let's hear this.
We're different. How are you different? I've been on many programs. People call in, we're different. And my response is always, I'll take you, my brother. And I'll take you to Ghana with my husband. You walk down the streets of Accra, they see two black men, two Africans.
Hey, If I go, you take me to Ghana, they would see black person just like them. Does that mean I'm Ghanaian? I'm not Ghanaian. I'm different from them. What are you talking about? See, this is, I'm telling you, people, this is what they use, skin color, to blind you to it. I'm pretty sure if I go to, Zimbabwe, they, I'm going to be black just like them. But I'm different from them because I'm not from there. But they use these techniques. Yeah, they are not Africans. They're African descent. There's a difference there. Just like, a European in America, white people here from Europe. But they're not going to say, oh, I'm European. They're going to say, I'm an American. That doesn't mean they're not saying white. If you take that same person, you walk with them to England in the street, they're going to see another white person, but if they speak, they would know they are not. And if you're like, oh, you're white just like me, you're English, you'll be like, no, I am an American. There's a difference. But they only do this to black people. They shame black people in America to accept this nonsense, and you go for it. You have a Zimbabwean. This woman should be figuring out why, if you need a loaf of bread in Zimbabwe, you don't need to go, rent a wheelbarrow just to buy one loaf of bread. You have to put so much Zimbabwean dollars there just to go buy one loaf of bread. Now she's lecturing you on race. In this something, black people, you need to stop doing this, because sometimes I don't know, how you guys are allowing people like this to bamboozle you into their nonsense. But she's about to use fear. That tells you this woman she's not even out there interacting. She's spending her days watching TV or reading paper or talking on the phone. She's not in the real America, because if she was in the real America, what she's about to say, she wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I take you and my husband, let's take you to the streets of New York City. They see two black men. When they shot that African man in New York City, Mamadou, whatever his name is, years ago.
She doesn't even know the guy's name. Okay, fine. He got shot. What's that got to do with, Leroy down the street? Let's just be real. What's that got to do with him? They always resort to fear tactics. Like one time I saw the one guy, Woody Meyer, with that George Floyd kerfuffle. He was like, oh, you guys need to come back. You see, before you die, in America. And I replied to his post. I said, people don't die in Ghana. So these are the things, like you got people who's like him, who's never even stepped foot in the United States, trying to use fear tactics against you. Hey, if your time is up, your time is up. There's nothing you can do about that. So I don't get these fear tactics that they're trying to use. Don't go for this. Now, what they are doing, they're trying to separate, like they're trying to remove all the blame from the African governments themselves. So my thing is, hey, I'm more than happy to help contribute, but also the people that are in charge, why don't we remove them and since you think we are the competent ones, why don't you guys replace them with us? You could do this. I'm not even sure what country she's talking about. Maybe she's talking about Ghana, because that's where Wakanda City is. Because all this airport stuff she's talking about, you think I'm worried about what kind of airport is in other countries? I'm not worried about that. I'll let those people worry about that. But they want to create this fake illusion as if all Africa is the same, is one country. They want to present that to you. They are just sowing seeds of confusion, double dipping. They sold your ancestors into slavery, made money. Now they want to make money off of you. That's how I see it, and that's what it is. Because they're not saying anything here that's in your best interest. Everything she's saying is against you, trying to sell you a fake city that doesn't exist, a comic book city. Comic book city, people. This is a disgrace.
Did not shoot a Sierra Leonean.
Right.
They shot a black man. So why?
He's from Guinea. They shot a Guinean. So you can try to hype up your voice all you want. That's not going to change where the guy came from. What is this?
Do you continue to be stupid and tell yourself we are different? Come on. But this is, too many people feel that way.
Yeah.
So because they are different, they don't think they need to go to Africa. Well, then you deserve what you get. Because what is in Africa belongs to you.
So if you don't want to go to Africa, did you guys hear this, people? Every black person should take heed to this. So if you, as a black American, born and raised in America, your ancestors are from here, if you do not want to accept a scam, then you deserve any bad, evil thing that happens to you. People, make that make sense for a minute. So if you don't want to go to Africa, a place that you are not from, then you deserve to be shot by a cop. Ma'am, you're from Zimbabwe. Don't you think you should be heading over to Zimbabwe if you're this passionate about people going to Africa? Like black Americans, they see people from Africa. They see themselves, they know who they are. They're telling you, no, I am not African. I'm American. I'm different. Why is she offended by that? This is what you should be asking yourself. This is what scammers do. See, when they start, look, I see this a lot. When Africans, especially, when they say, my brother, run the other way. They are ready to scam you, for real. She sounds like a typical scammer, calling you my brother to put you to sleep. Man, you better drink your coffee. Make sure you drink it black with no milk in it. When you see her, tell them you want double, triple shots. Hey, look, I was born, yesterday, whatever. Or they said I was born at night, but not last night. So listen to what this woman is saying. She's a fraudster.
Either you go and get it or they will get it for you. Gina, you know as much as I do. Before COVID, but even now, you get in the planes to go to Africa from anywhere. The majority of the people in those planes don't look like me and you.
No.
You get in the planes within Africa. The majority of the people in the intra-Africa flights don't look like you and I.
Because mostly the Europeans, white people, that they can afford to pay the flight tickets. Maybe you should try to help since you have so much ideas, how about you help Africans with ideas so they can afford to fly in these planes? Is that a possibility? But again, they are trying to get you to be like, oh, look, the white people are coming to Africa to take what belongs to you. Hey, tell them if it belongs to you, tell them to just ship it to you. Give them your P.O. box. If it's not sitting in my living room, guess what? It doesn't belong to me. That's my rule of thumb. Oh, Afridamus, you in America, you have inheritance. This sounds like one of those, you guys know, one of those emails. I'm sure some of you know the emails I'm talking about. Oh, sir, you know, uh, you have an inheritance in Lagos. Please send me your bank account. Let me wire this to you. It sounds just like that. Don't fall for it. It's a hoax.
Do you think these people are going to Africa because they love the Africans? Of course not.
So you know what is in every white person's heart. Why would they go there if they don't love the place or the people? Why? This woman is a devil. So she's trying to tell you, oh, the white people going there, they don't love Africa. They're just going there. Let's find out why they're there, according to her.
Because they're going there because there's something amazing going on in your Africa. They're going to take your inheritance while you're too busy being told, stay away from Africa. It is a diseased and dying continent. Hello.
Well, if Africa has so much inheritance for black people, why don't you explain, hey, I guess they're no longer entitled to that when it was African people that decided to sell their ancestors into slavery. Do you understand this, ma'am? That's what happened. What you mean, you're Africa? She's speaking to Americans, telling them you're Africa. That's what she's doing. What a joke.
Information
Ambassador,
is all there.
yeah, it's yeah. I know that you have an extensive group of advisory board members and people that you're affiliated with and that are part of ADDI. Are there any other, Yokota wants to know, are there any other African country leaders that are on board with ADDI?
ADDI is apolitical. We are about creating a strong private sector through collaborations with our brothers and sisters in the private sector in Africa. So yes, we were invited by the Kingdom of Asebu. The president of Ghana has reached out to the kingdom to say, because Cape Coast, some of you may not be aware, that 80% of the Africans who were taken out of West Africa as slaves, they were pulled into Ghana. They left from two main ports. Cape Coast, they call them castles, we call them dungeons.
Ma'am, you can call them dungeons, whatever you like. That still doesn't take away that it was those chiefs that sold these people. It was the chiefs that sold them. So now you want to bring black Americans over to traumatize them. Oh, this is where your ancestors were put in chains and sent away. Black people, wake up. Why do people want to keep reiterating this slave story to you? They just always want to keep, they don't want you to forget. They keep telling you, oh, this is what happened. Oh, it's castle. We call it dungeons. Okay, great. You can call it dungeons. But why don't you also tell us who sold the people, who put them in those dungeons for the ships to come? Because we know that it wasn't the white people. Who did it? Who did it? This is crazy. They are literally trying to shame you, telling you, oh, your ancestors got sent through here. We're going to bring you and traumatize you. You should be ashamed of yourself not wanting to relocate to the place that sold you off. This doesn't make any sense. I have always been talking about this for years. for years. And many that even go there, when they come back, they're like, oh, you were right. Hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, what not to do, but just use common sense. Does that make sense to you? This woman is not even from Ghana. She's not from Ghana. But I guess in her mind, the only countries in Africa is Ghana and Nigeria, because those are the ones that she liked to mention. What an idiot. She doesn't even mention Zimbabwe, where she come from. It is a shame. Stoic one said, at least one Ghanaian chief has apologized for his people's part in it. Well, I don't know how sincere that apology is. Seriously, I don't know.
It was the Cape Coast dungeons and the Elmina dungeons. Those who were taken to North America, the US and Canada, they left out of Cape Coast dungeons. Those who were taken to the Caribbean and South America, they left out of the Elmina Castle. Okay. President Nana Addo felt very strongly that this very same place that our ancestors last set foot on the African soil, they should.
Did you hear? She said, our ancestors. Again, deceptive language. Deceptive language. Which one of her ancestors were taking? She's not Ghanaian. But they're going to come up with their DNA mumbo jumbo bullshit. I don't buy that.
Be a city of return, so the children of Africa can come home and complete the journey. So the children of Africa can stand at the dungeons and look across the Atlantic and tell the slavers once and for all, while you may have won for 400 years, ultimately we are the victors.
I think it's the other way around. It's the other way around. Every black person should go and stand and look across the Atlantic towards Africa and say, while you guys have, sold our ancestors 400 years ago, it turned out we won. It's the other way around. What is she talking about? I'm just keeping it real. What? You're the one now begging, trying to scam them out of their money. Why isn't she doing this, about other Africans, convincing them? Hey, let me tell you. You see, these African governments, most of the time, they are usually very corrupt, right? So if an individual that aligns themselves with them and they are not willing to speak about the corruption, if anything, they're exonerating them, trying to remove them from this, trying to blame other people who have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with government or that country, you know that they are corrupt. They are in cahoots together. This is just a fantasy, man. Fantasy.
For we would have come back home to Ghana, to Cape Coast, where they last set foot on the African soil. So the kingdom of Asebu, having heard about ADDI, they dispatched one of their chiefs to come to the United States, met with me and the ADDI team, and officially asked us to partner with them to realize the wishes of the president, which is the establishment of the Wakanda City of Return in Cape Coast, Ghana.
Nice.
It is a city that is fitting. We have had invitations to various countries. We were supposed to have gone to Zambia before COVID. Before COVID, we had 8 countries already lined up. But because of that, we had to just lay low for now. But now that COVID is beginning to look a little better, we are going to be cranking it up. And yes, we are going to go to just about as many African countries as we can.
Guys, you're right. She's not even from West Africa. Zimbabwe is in South Africa. So that alone should tell you she is a scammer. That's what scammers do. That's why they put so much emphasis on, oh, my brother and sister, my brother and sister. Ma'am, you're from South Africa, the southern tip of Africa, in Zimbabwe. Why are you trying to pretend to be a West African? This is crazy. This is really crazy. But I know what they will say. Oh, by DNA, we all the same. Oh, you mean DNA from the white man that you told me not to trust? You guys noticed when it fits them, then sure, you can trust the white man. But when it doesn't fit them, don't trust the white man. Amazing.
For now, we are having a regional approach. First is Ghana. The next one is going to be either in Zambia or Kenya, whichever one. We already have land in Zambia, but Kenya is coming in strong as well. We have a strong group of Kenyans. We have organized, they've identified a university setting with a hospital and a teaching hospital. We are looking for centers that are.
Black people in America, their ancestors are not from Kenya or Zambia. But you see, blacks, what they're trying to do to you, they are lying to you, trying to make it sound to you that, oh, Africa is one country. You see, she's just naming foreign countries. Foreign countries. But what about Zimbabwe? That's where she is from. I mean, people think about it. If I start a movement right now, I say back to Africa movement. But I'm naming all the places except Gambia, the place where I'm from. Shouldn't you be suspicious of me? I mean, common sense, for me, I would be suspicious. I'd be like, what? But dude, I thought you said you were from Gambia. Like, why aren't you speaking about Gambia? So this is why I don't take these silly Pan-Africanists that come online. They are experts about all the other countries that they are not from, but you would never hear them talk about the places they are from. They run around, they invite people to countries that they are not from. The place they are from, not a word. It's just a joke. It's a big joke, people.
Ready, building the capacity. We're looking to partner with them, increase the capacity, and begin to build the centers of excellence regionally and with due course nationally as well.
And the goal of the Wakanda One cities will be to establish a city where people live and thrive and work and have a strong economic base. But I imagine there will also be a tourism sector. Am I correct?
Oh, big time. In fact, phase one of the Wakanda City of Return, it's a welcome center. It's going to have a 500-bed hotel, 200 chalets.
So, hey, I hope you're listening to the language. Yeah, we're trying to create tourism with hotels and bring black people there and tell them it's Wakandan City. Like, why go through all this, mental gymnastics? Just if you do not try to deceive people into helping you help yourself. She's a politician. So they're going to the Wakanda City is just a welcoming center. But they're going to be working what are they going to be working on? What kind of jobs are you going to be giving people? I mean, let's look at Ghana, the place where you're trying to build this at. How does the locals feel about this? Let's just be real.
1,000 homes. The 1,000 homes are going to be an extension from the 40 acres that are on the beach, a short mini shopping center.
Exactly, Stoic One.
There's also going to be a museum. The museum is going to be a living museum that we hope that it will take people through a journey of a little girl who left home in Ivory Coast.
Look, black people, if you're really, really about museums, the Mink Slide Museum is coming. Tariq collected the money. He's going to build the Mink Slide Museum. This silly woman is telling you, oh, leave your home in America to go live in a museum. You guys do realize the way, pay attention, what she's saying. This is all lies, right? The things she's saying doesn't make sense. This is why they said Wakanda City, because it's not real. It's not real.
To fetch water, and she gets captured, and she never comes home again. We will follow her journey through the forest. Some never made it to the dungeons. Some, they died, got sick, they got mauled by the lions. We're going to follow that little girl. And if she makes it.
So the people that never made it, that died, that means they didn't have children. So why who are these people? Can you imagine? Like, they got mauled by the lions. So these lions were just, in the forest hiding, and the lions only get to eat the people that are supposed to be slaves, but not the people, the enslavers. This is wild. This is unreal. Bernard said, Afridamus, how's your Swahili lessons going? Bernard, I'm not doing any Swahili. They better keep that stuff wherever it's at. That's another craziness. Coming to West Africa, telling West Africans, oh, you gotta speak Swahili. Are you kidding me? Who are these people? Jeez.
How she stayed in the dungeons, through the feces and the urines where they were packed like sardines, through the entry into the door of no return, the transatlantic journey, the raping, the abuse, the torture. We're going to show it all. We will take you through the journey of.
Ma'am, so somebody was out there with their cell phone taking videos of this. Do you guys understand? I'm telling you, eventually, Black people, I'm telling you right now, these people are going to come up with so much scams to a point they would convince you that, hey, guess what? We got cell phone footage from the way your ancestors were taking back in the days. Because if they're trying to sell Wakanda City to you, imagine a comic book city. They're trying to sell it to you as real. And now she's making up all these lies. What else do they have in the pipelines? What else? Wake up and smell the coffee. What you should be fighting for is trying to understand why they're giving reparations to illegal aliens while you're not getting any reparation. Not only are they saying you can't get it, your tax dollars are being taken to be given to them. That's what people should be talking about. Not trying to listen to some lunatic telling you about some comic book city. Yesterday we had, lady here, she's here, shout out. She's the one that brought Dr. Arikana to my, to my attention for Black righteousness. Thanks for the info. I mean, she was talking about it, but I didn't even realize how crazy this woman sound until I went searching for her. I was like, oh my Lord, this is wild.
What our ancestors went through. But more importantly, we will show you how evil these people are and why reparations must be paid.
Who is this reparation going to be paid to? Black people, you see? You hear the double dipping here? So she's saying our ancestors. This woman is from Zimbabwe, not even West Africa. She keeps saying our ancestors, and in the same sentence, she is talking reparation. So she's infused herself into this. This is criminality for real. And all that voice inflation. You guys know when somebody is making up stuff. I showed you guys Juliet's video here too. She does the same thing. I don't know what is going on, if somebody put this team together, but something is happening. Somebody is doing something somewhere to make this happen. But we will get to the bottom of it. I would keep searching. We would find the answer.
Ambassador,
If you enjoy
Ladies and gentlemen, I just dropped the link. Let me drop it again. The lines are open. I want you guys to come in and tell me what's on your mind after hearing what you just heard. And if you know anything else, if you're somebody who is in support of Wakanda, if you're a Wakandanite, by all means, you can call in too. All phone calls are welcome. I want to hear what you have to say. Let's see. This South African red pill. You requested the link. The link is in the chat. Hit the link. Come on through and tell me what's on your mind. But Black people, this is what is going on. You guys heard the lady. I know sometimes when these people are talking, they act all passionate, all important, as if they are saying something. You never have the chance to really look deep into it until somebody actually does a reaction to them and break it down. That's why I like doing these reaction videos, so people can see exactly what is happening. Because if you only watch it once, things tend to go over your head. But when somebody breaks it down, you're like, this is crazy. But we have some callers here. I'm going to bring in South African red pill, and then I will bring for Black righteousness as well.
How are
SA
you,
Red Pill.
Oh,
Hey, thank you for coming again.
how are you, Mr. Afrodamis?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
No, I just really want to understand, sir. Like, why is it? Because I experienced this before. I was thinking about maybe telling the small story happened this weekend. Why is it that it's usually the European blacks that have this? It's a weird thing. They have this. They know better than the people that live in Africa. I don't know why, and also they have a sense of, when you tell them that let's stop talking about the past and let's start building, they will attack you. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
Yeah,
But then,
well, the reason is the propaganda. Like, especially like Black people in America have been bombarded with propaganda upon propaganda, and you would see people read books, right? Certain books, and then if they talk to you, because you would hear people say Africans don't even know their history, but maybe you read a book about someplace in Ghana, but you're talking to somebody from Gambia or somebody from South Africa. So in their head, they're assuming, but you're African, you're supposed to know. No, two completely different groups of people, different countries, different cultures, different languages. But Africa is presented as this one big giant place in America. But this Arikana is not a Western Black. She is from Zimbabwe.
imagine, and she probably doesn't even, it's not even in Zimbabwe right now.
She's
But
in America.
exactly, I'm just saying. It's no, the thing is, what hits me a lot, Afrodamis, is the fact that you will have So let me tell you a small short story. I'll take like 1 minute, less than 1 minute. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm obviously explaining the whole, we keep talking about the invincible enemy. You keep trying to, I don't know what's up with this European blacks. They try to make black people unify by whiteness. They
Are
talk
you
about white
wait?
supremacy a lot.
Are you mostly? Is it actual Europe, like blacks in
Oh, no,
Europe?
I mean
Or
like maybe Nigerian British or
oh,
Ghanaian British. That's what I mean by that.
okay,
So
like the
one thing I've
okay.
not
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So usually they'll probably grew up, were born in Africa, and were raised that side.
Yeah,
And these people will fight me when I tell you most Africans in Africa, because I have traveled to Mozambique and where. And this is kind of a logical thing. I told this person, most Africans, ma'am, do not care about white people when their actual enemy who's stealing from them, who's attacking them, is a black person, right? That's
exactly.
not to say they don't. Yeah, but it's a logical thing. You think I don't have to explain this? It's actually logical if you really think about it.
Well,
And then
it's
she'll
it's
tell.
taught. It's taught in schools, because a lot of these, especially second generation of youngsters, they think they are smart, but most of them are educated fools, just because you are in this classroom, they receive liberal education. So you're living in a white country, right? But somehow these people, they have to go out and seek quote unquote racism, because for some reason they cannot see this racism for themselves. Somebody has to tell them. So this is why they would use critical race theory languages, things like what do they call it? They have these different lingos, uh, passive aggressive, like they are passive aggressive with these things. Um, or they would use genderized languages. So when they start using that, know that you're dealing with people who are too far gone. The things they are talking about is not even their own talking point. Somebody is telling them this. TV is telling them this. Somebody is telling them to be outraged. This is why I started the program by talking about, the propaganda. The media is what is twisting their minds. It's not like they're thinking for themselves.
Yeah, a friend of mine talked about this. Like there are two types of thought, like intuitive thinking and what's this, which is like you just impulsive and stuff, and then there's analytical thinking, where
Right.
most people are intuitive most of the times. When it's like if I told you which country is wealthier, South Africa or Nigeria, intuitively people would think it's Nigeria because they just think of what the background looks like. But for most times, the one with the highest GDP and money is
Right.
Nigeria compared to
Yeah.
South Africa. Yeah. So that's the thing with a lot of us. There's a lot of impulsive when we think. No, what I was gonna say about this person. This thing shocked me because I was mentioning like a bunch of African countries. Like we keep trying to take away accountability from Africans, African rapists, African all of this because
Mhm.
this thing of concentrating on whiteness. It's funny how I have to explain this. You are talking about people you can't touch, people that don't care for most part. You can't touch and or your speech does nothing. What is this solving in the first place for an African kid right now who's living in poverty in Africa? Like, what is this actually solving for that kid right now? Right? And then they would say things like, we're deconstructing the mind. We can't talk about building. I swear, this Nigerian woman in British was Lily told me this Afrodamis. She
Yeah.
says, let's not talk about building. We're trying to deconstruct the mind.
Yeah.
Like for
That's
some
what.
reason, hungry kids have time
Yeah.
for
They are.
your
They are.
speech.
They are communists. They are communists. Yeah. They. It's like all they got is words. They don't have. They cannot build anything. These people literally, you know, like they went to quote unquote schools, but it's brainwashing centers. Okay, it's brainwashing centers because it's like, I mean, who says that? If we don't talk about building, what are we going to talk about? So these people, they're gonna sit there and use, stupid little words that they heard. These words are not even
Oh,
real.
Mr. Avadamis, I never told you. I forgot the good part. So I remember mentioning, and then the people, apparently I'm famous now a little bit in Clubhouse. I started mentioning Nigeria. I said, look, man, Nigeria has 48% people that are living in extreme poverty, yet Aliko Dangote is a billionaire. Then this guy, oh, stop, you know, you know, I'm tired of you, I South African, or like, he started attacking me, saying, apparently I speak about Nigerians. And that was my first time mentioning Nigeria on
Yeah.
all my Clubhouse panels, right? The funny thing about that, right? Guess what his excuse was when I said that? Because he didn't say I was lying or anything. What he said was that it makes sense. He said Lily told me is that it makes sense. That's why it's like that, because my Nigeria has a high population. And then my thing is, so I confronted him and said, say, are you really trying to tell me right now that it makes sense why black people have to be poor? You understand what I'm saying? This is how these intellectuals think. Because he's saying, yes, you have poverty because the population is high. So it makes sense why black people have to be poor. I'm a South
Yeah.
African debating a Nigerian why Nigerians should not be poor. This boggles me, sir. Like, and
Well,
then I was also on a panel with Nigerians talking about, yeah, she was talking shit. What like they were taking her when I told my other Nigerian friends about it. But yeah.
yeah, I mean, they, like I said, they go and read books, you know, that brainwashes them more. And the things they put on TV here in American TV's mainstream, they are deliberately, like I said, they go out of their way, to promote degeneracy, to brainwash people. You look at even the people that they are promoting to be the ones, to be a representation for, especially, like, let's say, black people. These people, most of they lack common sense, they lack wisdom. So it's no longer like it used to be, where you have people where they would come on TV, they tell their story, how they came from poverty and how they overcame poverty, what they went through. It's no longer that. Now, even Oprah, who literally people said is a billionaire, she even
Yeah.
promotes victimhood. Because you see, the same
And that
people,
always boggles me, sir. Why do American billionaires, like even Robert F. Smith, he does this thing too, where he worked hard, pushed himself to be a billionaire, married a white woman out of all of that, and then tells black people how much of a victim they are. Actually, it really boggles me. Like, why is that,
right?
sir?
Right. So, what do you think about Wakanda City and Dr. Arikana?
I think for Wakanda City, for most part, I see what they're trying to do. To be honest, like if I had to vote for it to exist, I would say yes, it should
Wait,
exist. But
wait. You do realize Wakanda, that's like, it's a comic book, right?
yeah, I understand. No, I actually talking about the fact that they want it to exist in a way. I know it's a comic book for Marvel.
But do you did you hear everything I said about how this is entirely based on trying to say, quote unquote, black Americans, like shaming black Americans into coming to a place where their ancestors were sold.
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking
heard that
like
part. Yeah, yeah.
sold from, like they were sold into slavery. The people that sold them received whatever type of token they were selling these humans for. They received payment. So now those people's descendants, you want them to come back and give you money again, all in the name of this fake, you know, Wakandan city. And
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
I
a
heard that.
woman. She's Zimbabwean. She's not Ghanaian. She has
Uh,
nothing to do with this. She's not West African.
no, I'm reading the comment there for Miss
Oh, okay.
Jameson.
I'll allow for righteous folks also to speak. Okay.
Why does everybody got my name wrong? It's
Uh,
for black righteous
oh
folks.
yeah. I
Why
mean,
gotta
I,
be
I
for
told you the
right?
middle.
Why my name gotta be misconstrued so nobody know who
It's
I
long.
am?
It's long
Please help me out, brother.
for
But
black righteous
you
folks.
on
Okay.
you on some you on my level, and I appreciate that. I'm crying inside though because Black American men are not on the level that I'm on and you're on, and it hurts. It really hurts. I'm not lying. It fucking hurts because my survival depends on truth. And if people are being confused on being chaotic and senseless and butcherously stupid, it ain't helping nobody out. But they're bitch ass niggas, and
Well, you have to
sometimes.
understand also, right? Think about the years and years of brainwashing, and it's still happening.
But you know what? We see what we see. People want to try to play make believe Spider Man and Superman and all this other fucking shit to escape what you know and what you're feeling and what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to like wake my people up on don't go to the characterizations of cartoons and whatever else make believes and motherfuckers like playing you with emotionalism and this and that and the other, you know, because we ain't got time to tarry, really. We're like 50 years late. In all honesty, 50 years late.
What do you
And
think about my analysis of Dr. Arikana and her Wakandan city?
okay, it was perfect, but you were late because I was first. But nonetheless, an African guy telling the truth is more significant than what I'm saying because, like I said, as a female, I like gave you props on another video about talking about modern day slavery. And unfortunately, when a woman tells the truth, people want to impart on her emotionalism, psychosis, schizophrenia, and all these other outlandish shit. Not that she knows, not that it's about truth and honesty, because it's easy to deflect a female versus a guy. So when you came along, you gave credence to what I've been saying, and I knew it was helpful to what I said, but I needed you to help it be better because motherfuckers, these bitch ass niggas and these
Oh,
motherfucking falsifiers motherfuckers can make up shit and say you're not significant, even though they're dusty and fucked up, and I'm better and I'm smarter. But
be,
the point being,
be
the
nice
truth
to
is the
them.
truth.
Be nice to them.
The truth is the truth, though. If you
Right.
ain't got the truth, I ain't gotta believe in you. You gotta have the truth. If you ain't got the truth, I gotta believe in you.
The truth
Facts.
shall set us free.
Exactly. So if you ain't got the truth, I ain't got to believe in you, bitch ass, whatever.
You
Fill
know,
in the blank.
you know, if you look at what is happening, I hope a lot of people are smelling the coffee and seeing the scam here. Because if you're from America, you should ask yourself, why are we the target of
Man, you know
these
what? They're
people?
in La La Land. They have been living off the hog on social media. These motherfuckers have been pacified with attacking one another. They make it so. Like if I talk about a black man, okay, I used to be gay, right? Just imagine. And I said
You used to be gay?
20 years. And if I say Afrodamus,
Hmm.
that these men are so fucked up, so far gone, fuck these motherfuckers and get something better and all that type of stuff, I would be making a whole lot of money. But that's not my heart. My heart is about existing in my heritage, lineage, and the whole struggle of where I'm at. It's not about what I choose to versus what is something I need to like understand what's going on. So I'm a different species. I'm not off of emotionalism, but off of my logic and off of understanding where we at right now in life. And people don't want to appreciate that because they want you to be dumbed down to whatever it is that people are suggesting that you be. And I'm not a sheeple for no motherfucker.
But
I don't give a
but you
fuck if it's
see,
you or any other.
sometimes you gotta meet people where they're at and just keep
But
beating,
meeting them where they're at and they have bad intentions for me, leaves me at the backside of my decision of trying to get my shit together. And they have an advantage against me when I believe in them more than myself. So we have to learn, you, I'm sure, and myself and others should have to learn how to like believe in themselves and upgrade themselves from the dust and crevices or whatever it is. Because if someone want to take you there, they can take you there and like kill you off.
Yeah.
We can't have ourselves be subjected to any other spirit to let me say various spirits that is not um in agreement to mine.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad, yesterday you brought up Arcana's name, and today she's on center stage. And
Exactly. And
yeah,
I'm so
well,
glad that you have mentioned her because people did not know about her and people don't want to like say anything about her because they're making money being stupid. And that's the problem with black Americans. Like they enable us to be um, against us by like shooting out that they're fucked up, they're has-beens, they're inadequate, whatever. And that's popular to make money. Look
right.
at the what's that guy, the Jewish guy's name that has rappers and stuff on there, the Live TV and all these
Oh, Vlad
others.
TV.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they have black folks on there exposing themselves while he's making millions and thousands of dollars off of them and they're going to jail. But
Well,
there's a problem with that with me. And I'm
well,
like, why are you
just
associating?
put out the info. Don't give up. Just keep talking about it. Not everyone is gonna wake up at the same time, but
Yeah.
even if it's one person, you know, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. One
I'm
at a
just saying,
time.
like, it's
Can
ridiculous
I?
right now. We expect to be ridiculous, and that's what's been going on. And I don't want it to. I don't want to continue if I can help myself.
No, I mean, don't give up. Just keep putting that message out there. I mean, you never know who's going to be inspired by it.
You don't feel my message, or are you telling me that? I
No,
promise. Are you telling me my message is skewed somehow?
I'm saying because it sounds like you want to give up on the people.
No,
I'm
no.
saying,
I'm saying like where and why don't they understand what's happening to us? Why don't they understand that we're being targeted like directly, like first and
Can I?
foremost? Why don't they understand? That's what I'm confused about.
well,
Can
like
I,
I
ma'am?
said,
Can I ask you?
everyone they're gonna come, you know,
They're
like
gonna come in when it's too late.
not everyone is gonna wake up at the same time.
That's not good though.
Yeah. So Essay was gonna say something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask her something. This woman. So, I mean, I can feel her pain a little bit because I know that what's that woman, man? That Indian, half Indian one, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Yeah, yeah. She, I saw like on when she was like trying to promote herself and stuff. She started talking to a bunch of rappers and all this that Latina.
What woman are you talking about? I don't know her name. I don't know who
He
she
said
is.
Kamala. He's talking about
Kamala
Kamala.
Oh,
Harris. The
she's
people.
not a
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
the culture of the rap. I mean, come on, she's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Like,
a
why do you think that?
political, awkward, like lying ass bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to ask, like, why do you think that never triggered, like, maybe your people? I mean,
I
she's talking
think
to a bunch of rappers,
for
not
Black
international.
Righteous, can we kind of clean the language? This is a family program.
Is it
This-
really a family? Are you playing with me right now?
No, it is a family program.
Where's the family? Where's
Well,
the family? I'm waiting for these motherfuckers to show up.
okay.
Where is the
It's over for their community, bro. It's over.
Well, it is a family
Too
program.
bad for them, though. Like, what was that, though? What was that? What was that?
Yeah. So you were asking, So you were saying that you were going to vote for Wakandan City, a comic book.
No, I wish it would. I mean, I was listening to. I mean, you were talking about how, why be a doctor in in a place where you earn like what did you say, 40 per hour, $40 an hour, compared to over that side, and the fact. I mean, that was what I kind of concentrated more on the fact that it's there are a lot more opportunities when you're at that side compared to yours.
Yeah, yeah, that's I mean, people are gonna go to where the opportunities are. That's just human nature, you know. So when someone comes and try to tell other people, how they should live their life, that's not gonna work, you see. But I say thanks for coming, always
Nice
call
talking
it.
to yourself. Nice
Same
talking
here.
to you.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I want to send. So I send my link to my clubhouse or before I
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, send it. Hey, Kwesi, welcome to the show. Kwesi, unmute yourself. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming, Kwesi.
Yeah, I was clicking on the StreamYard link for some reason, it wasn't working. I don't know why.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, I was clicking the last 5 minutes, it wasn't working. But I was a bit busy, but I'm free now.
Yeah.
I've listened to I listened to the very beginning, the first 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes. I've not heard the full story of what's been discussed, but the topic is, something I'm well aware of. So I decided to call in to contribute. In regards to the Wakanda City year of return
Yeah.
in Cape Coast, I don't think it's going to happen simply because of the money involved. One of the first questions when African Millennial raised this city being built in Ghana, because she was the first one that raised it, and then I decided to talk about it. Is that where's the money going to come from? Is it going to come from the government of Ghana, or is it going to come from the diaspora in America? And I don't think the diaspora in America are going to chip in and build the type of skyscrapers and neighborhoods that we're seeing there. But obviously, you never know, who they're speaking to within the Ghanaian government, or people in Ghana. You never know who they're speaking to behind closed doors, because I heard they've been meeting up with a few chiefs here and there. In terms of the city itself, um, it's neither here or there, because I don't think foreigners should be allowed to build their own city, which will create, build their own city, which could create like a segregation type of feeling in that part of the country.
Right.
Because even in America, I'm sure they don't let Gambians build their own city just for themselves. So I
No.
don't know why the Ghanaian government or whoever's doing this is allowing this to happen. But a lot of people said it's not going to happen. And another thing is,
Kwesi, do you think, because the way this Arikana is sounding, right?
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe these people are working with the Chinese, because I know the Akon city that's backed by the Chinese, right?
Mhm.
And also trying to shame maybe African Americans into contributing their money into the city. Because it sounds like she's talking about, oh, it's going to also be a hotel and all that. So you being a Ghanaian, how do you feel about, you know, Dr. Arikana, a Zimbabwean lady, coming to, like, I don't know if she's in Ghana, but selling Ghana as talking about, oh, our ancestors were from, taken from here, you know, I want to set up this city, and trying to shame African Americans to come back, quote unquote, come back home to Ghana, presenting Ghana instead of Zimbabwe. How do you feel about that?
yeah, it was weird. I reckon she's a Pan African of some sort, because she would have to have been a Pan African to have that type of views. I think when I watched the video of the official Wakanda city presented by Dr. Rakana, she kept saying we, our
Right.
ancestors, and we. Zimbabwe was not a part of the whole, you know, um,
The movement.
It was mainly West Africa and maybe parts of Central Africa. Zimbabwe was not a part of it. So it was surprising and shocking to when she said our people were taken and our people are coming home. And she's not from anywhere near the west coast of Africa.
Right.
So another weird thing is she kept saying our ancestors, and which again doesn't really make sense because she doesn't have direct lineage to the people that were actually taken as slaves. And
Right.
it gets more. You see, she's a Pan African, so Pan Africans, as and as everyone knows, sees all black people as one. So I see where what angle she's speaking from, but I think that again everyone's surprised why she's not doing this in Zimbabwe.
Right. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised because for her to come to Ghana and front a project, Wakanda City in Ghana. I haven't really spoken to a lot of Ghanaians about this apart from, those on my YouTube channel. I haven't spoken to any Ghanaians personally. But for me personally, as an individual, it never really made sense to me because she may be doing this for money.
Of
You
course.
understand?
It sounds it entirely because I played the video here. I don't know if you've heard it, but everything she talks about is all vague, and she talking about, oh, you guys can come and put your money together and buy gold mine. And Kwesi, is that possible for people to come and do that in Ghana?
No, it was not. And the funny thing about this Wakanda City is that it's been fronted and headed by Zimbabwe, which to me is weird because you can't have a city owned by foreigners and led by foreigners and the Ghanaians themselves on the ground are not involved, in terms of, no representative of the community, maybe a chief or,
But she said the chief of Asebo.
Yeah, the chief of Asable, you see, the chief of Asable was on a Ghanaian YouTube channel called Kofi TV, for those who don't know, and he was basically giving out free land. So that's all the way in central region. I'm not from anywhere near that part of Ghana, but he was giving out free land that anyone can come and get free land. So if they're doing it with collaboration with him, then I think that he would obviously know the ins and outs. But again, the king of Asable, there are people in the local area because this is free land he's given, right?
Right.
And there are people in Asable who live there who don't have land. You feel
How do
me?
they feel about
How
that?
do they feel about this? Because they would feel a particular way about it.
Uh-huh.
The free land he's given is sort of like he's never really looked at the repercussions or what sort of thing it's going to create in terms of the balance between his people, because these are his people, and the foreigners who obviously may have more of a financial power and end up ruling there. And I think he's not really sat down and thought about this. He's just done it based on emotions. But I just wanted to speak specifically about the Dr. Arakana being a Zimbabwean. What Dr. Arakana was saying was that next stop is actually Zambia. And she said Ghana is phase
Kenya.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And next stop is Zambia. They've got land in Zambia where they're going to build another Wakanda city in Zambia. Then they're going to go to other African countries. So she's not even mentioned Zimbabwe yet.
Right. She
She's
mentioned Zambia, Kenya,
Mhm.
but nothing
about
about.
Zimbabwe. Yeah, she mentioned Ghana first,
Mhm.
Zambia second, and then Kenya. And I don't look, people can talk, innit? But if she's really serious about what she's saying, if there are plans to really do all of this, then I don't know what's going on because I don't know what Zambians or Kenyans are gonna say or feel about this because this type of project has to be headed by people from those countries itself. Like people of those countries should be the face of it. But again, I don't know why she's not doing this in Zimbabwe. It's a bit confusing for why she's choosing Zambia second and Kenya third. And she's saying this is phase one. And it's like, okay, how many of them are going to be coming in? Is it going to be in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? Is it going to be in the millions? Let's say hundreds of thousands at least, because that's a more realistic number than the millions.
But
Again, Dr.
Kwesi,
Arakana,
the president of Ghana sounds like he's on board too.
okay, what did he say? Because I may not have heard what he
Well,
said.
she said, because somebody asked a question and she answered it. She said they got support from I believe the Asebo chief and also Ghana's president, I believe. So my thing is, Kwesi, do they already have an actual land?
Yeah, I think they do with because the Asebu cheese has been on Ghanaian YouTube channel. So these are Chi language spoken. It's not English, but you know what? I will recommend it because they have subtitles because they for maybe the diaspora will listen, so there are subtitles written in English. And I will post the link in the comment section after this live where Asebu chief basically was showing land, vast land, saying anyone can come and grab some. Is I don't even think they have to pay for it. He's just saying it's for free. So if they are saying the Asebu chief this, then that is true. In terms of the Ghanaian leadership and the Ghanaian president, after he's in a couple of years, he's no longer going to be in power. So whoever comes into leadership or the new government may scrap a lot of these plans that he's put in place because new government, new presidents may have new different targets and different goals. But the Asebu King is, you know, exactly what Dr. Arakana may have said or whoever said. Yeah, the Asebu King is saying that people can come and get free land. But I've never really heard. And Asebu is a village, by the way. It's not even like the difference is that the Wakanda city is actually being built in Cape Coast.
Yeah.
That is an actual city in Ghana. It's a historic city and it's right on the coast. And I don't know what the Fanti tribe who occupied that part of Ghana. I don't know how they feel about it. You know, receiving, you know, so many people. I don't know how they feel about it and seeing their chiefs, you know, give away free. Like, again, it points out to
But
how
I don't think they're giving. See, that area is blurry. That's what I'm saying. Because she made it sound like they're going to be built. She's like, it's just
okay.
building hotels. And so I don't know if,
Okay, I think what makes this a bit confusing because I don't have ties to America, but recently, that means when I say ties to America, I mean I've never lived in America. But recently, one of the Asebu kings or one of the chiefs from that particular region of Ghana was in America, and he met, you know, a lot of the big YouTubers like there's this big YouTuber who talks about who goes to Africa. I forgot his name. When I remember his name, Uhuru. Search for Uhuru.
yeah, search for
Search for
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Yeah.
Yeah, those big type of Pan African YouTubers went to see them. It was like a conference, and I didn't know about it till a YouTuber was telling me in it on a live show, and eventually others confirmed it to be true. And he basically met a lot of, you know, black people in America saying there's land for them here, there, blah blah blah. So he met them, and that's when the land scam started happening because a lot of people were actually paying, you know, these big YouTubers money to secure land for them in Ghana because they had spoken directly to the chief, and that was when a lot of the people who actually paid for the land were actually getting scammed. So the chiefs, the Asebu chiefs in particular, have, you know, one of them has lived in America. You know, I think he's got ties to America in terms of he visits America a lot. So that is true to an extent of what Dr. Arakana is saying in terms of there being a possibility of land available. And there's this Ghanaian YouTuber called Echo Simpson. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Who?
Echo Simpson.
I don't think I know.
Spelled EKOW and then Simpson SIMPSON. And he normally does videos showing the Wakanda city, the land for the Wakanda city. He's been doing that for I think a year now, over a year. So and he lives in that particular area, like near the city. I think he lives in that area. So it is something that they're planning and they're pushing. And Doctor, I don't know what it is. Something the Asebu chiefs have been pushing. So that is true on that side. Yeah.
But Kwesi, do you foresee if they go ahead, like for instance, the Asebu King giving land when other people, Ghanaians, they are seeing this around and they don't have land? What kind of problem do you think? Do you think there's going to be a future problem for this?
It's very hard to tell because the chiefs giving them land is a bit complex, you feel me? Because it's like the chief owns the lands in Ghana.
Okay.
All lands are owned by the chiefs, and he's giving them the land. I think it's up to the local people to question why they haven't received the free land, even though they have no land, or maybe they haven't got enough land to farm. Because these parts of Ghana is like it's a city, but it's got that rural feel to it. It's not as developed as the major regional cities, isn't it? And
Right.
yeah, that's what they're gonna make in terms of future relation. I think there will be the divide between the have and the have-nots, and obviously with foreigners, the money wouldn't really trickle down to the locals. It's not like me going to here in Ghana where whatever wealth I have, the money trickles down to the locals. You know, if they open businesses, would they hire some of the locals? What would the relationship be like? Would it be great? Again, these are the disabled chiefs pushing for it. So if any future, you know, problems, it would be, on their doorstep. People would question the decisions they've made. But I think it points to the
And the
gullibility
president
of
is supporting it to the Ghanaian president.
the, I know the Ghanaian president did the whole year of return, but in terms of the Asebo, I've never really heard him say. You said the Ghanaian president came out supporting the Wakanda city,
No,
or
well, this is from Arikana,
Mhm.
so I didn't hear it from the Ghanaian president, but in Dr. Arikana's interview, she said that.
I think this points out to what a lot of Ghanaians, or okay, let's say me personally, I'm saying is that Ghana seems to be taking a bold step forward to save everyone except for Ghanaians. And no other nation is doing this. Nigeria ain't doing it, even though we've said multiple times that nobody's. I don't think even Gambia is doing as much as what Ghana
No,
is doing. And I haven't lived in Ghana. I'm in Ghana at the moment, but I haven't lived in Ghana for so many years. So I don't know what was going on the past several years that made them push for this whole thing. Because everybody knows Ghana is not the only nation people take. And if Dr. Arikana is saying the Ghanaian president is pushing for at least giving this project his blessing, then I guess she may be telling the truth. But if the Ghanaian president is giving her blessing, that may be the reason why she feels confident enough to say, you know what, foreigners can flood into Ghana, can come in.
no, but Arikana is trying to shame Black Americans, saying Ghana is their home. They need to come back home. This is, it sounds like she is trying to, bamboozle them to separate them from their dollars. She's saying, Ghana is your home. You need to come. This city is going to show you you can stand on the shores and look straight ahead across the Atlantic and say to the slavers that we, we finally won. Some BS like that.
Yeah, I think the surprising thing about Dr. Arikana is that one, she's not even a Ghanaian, so I don't know why she's funding this project, and she's talking about other Africans like Zambia and Kenya, and saying they're gonna go there and build these type of phases and start these Wakanda cities. But Ghana is where she started, so I guess that's where the spotlight is. I mean, in terms of what's going on, it's a bit of a mishmash, like I said earlier. I think in terms of the Ghanaian people, I'm sure the Ghanaian people will question things, as they are when you listen to radio station, they're questioning a lot of things. Even last time they questioned the Nigerian Biafrans who were in Ghana protesting that the Ghanaian president should intervene and speak to the Nigerian government on behalf of Biafra independence. And the Ghanaians obviously let their voice known. In terms of the diaspora, the Ghanaians are split. You feel me? For us, like someone like me who've actually lived with them in the UK and have experience with them, my views on them, obviously everybody knows, but some of the Ghanaians on the ground are seeing them as, these cuddly teddy bears that wouldn't hurt a fly and are welcoming them. So there's a
Right.
split in terms of those who are support of it and those who are against it. That's basically what it appears to me like now. Because if I say
So Arikana is, like, people are saying she's married to a Ghanaian, right?
that's a rumor I've heard. Yeah, I can't confirm or deny, but I've heard a rumor like
Yeah,
that she's.
it's definitely, all I'm saying is, especially like Black people in America, They need to wake up and smell the coffee. Something doesn't sound right here.
I question
And
a couple of things. One of the first one I've questioned is when we think of West Africa, and we have to think of Sierra Leone, Freetown.
right.
Now, if you know anything about Sierra Leone, Freetown, you would know that Black Americans control Freetown even to this day, or ADOS, or whatever you call it. Freetown is a city 100% controlled by, it's not even controlled by any of the native tribes. The native tribes in Sierra Leone control
Well,
the rest of the country.
well, they call them Creole,
Yeah,
but they're not really the ones in charge. They are in the official government and stuff. But Sierra Leone is a very tribal
yeah,
place
but I mean,
between the Mende and Timini.
Timni, but in
Because
terms of,
the president Madabio, he's a Mende.
okay, a Timni person who normally calls into the show said that ADOS or whatever are in control of Freetown.
The Creole, yes,
The Creole, and they're kind of Black American descent sort of thing, isn't it?
right.
Yeah, my point is they've never, even though they've been in charge of Sierra Leone, they never built up Sierra Leone to anything close to. They've never built the Freetown or invested anything in this Freetown. So
Yeah,
I don't
and
think
Monrovia too.
exactly Monrovia too. So I don't think because with Monrovia they were sort of chased out, but with Freetown they still have some type of power there, and they still haven't built this Wakanda city, with the skyscrapers that I'm seeing all over YouTube, the Wakanda city. So I don't think they are going to the Wakanda city in Ghana is going to happen. No, I don't think it's going to. I think it's just
Well,
fantasy because
the
the
black
cost.
people, the black people that relocated to those places, like a long time ago,
Mhm.
their thought process and today's black thought process is different.
What you mean the Creole?
The Creole, yeah,
Yeah, obviously it would be different, but what I mean is that even though the Creole, some of them had ties to America and were going back
right,
and forth,
right,
especially the highly educated ones, those with access to money, but they still didn't build any of the skyscrapers we've seen in the video of Wakanda City. And I
right.
don't know why, as a Ghanaian, the Ghanaian government, or I don't think the Ghanaian government, or the Asebu chiefs would allow foreigners to build their own city on their land. Because what's basically going to happen is that, as I and you and everybody knows, is that money talks. And if they allow foreigners to build an entire city where they are basically in control of an entire city, what's basically going to happen is that if they control the economy, they will be literally boss fans there. They are able and their people may end up living as second class citizens in their own land. I don't think they've looked at the risks or they've looked at the what could possibly happen.
Can
And
the
I don't
people challenge? Do they have the rights to challenge the Asebu King's, decisions?
no nobody you mean the local people or the foreigners?
The locals.
Yeah, the locals can challenge. You feel
Mm.
me? They can challenge. They can raise their voice and challenge. But the chief is the chief. He has paramount absolute power. But the people can challenge the views. They can challenge the status quo, depending on the relationship they would have with the foreigners. If the relationship gets sour and gets broken, or there's a bit of a tension, then people would question the chiefs a bit more.
But you see, Kwesi, the problem is, right? Why I would see this as a tense thing. Arikana is selling this off as, trying, this is if some black people, if they buy into this, she's saying, come home, you're not a foreigner whatsoever. But now if they get there, even her herself, she's a foreigner in Ghana. But she is selling to people and they're believing that they are not going to be foreigners. You know, when people start seeing them as foreigners, wouldn't that be a problem?
The big problem is what I was pointing out to you. You cannot allow foreigners of another nation to come into your country and build your own city in your country, because then they'll be like, you know what, this city is for us only. You
Right,
understand me? And what's basically going to happen if you allow them to build their own city, it will be almost like a city state. It's a bit like Monaco and France, where they start eventually asking for self-autonomy when they get too comfortable and too comfy. They can start, especially when they realize they have, the financial power and muscle to buy some chiefs. They will start, asserting their role, saying, you know what, we want self-autonomy. Because every city must have a mayor. Every city has
Right.
a mayor. They'll start
Hmm.
saying, we want to be the mayor of the city. And it would create problems. And the Asable Chiefs have made a huge mistake. You feel me? Where they should have done background checks, ins and outs on why this project is going on in the first place. They should have done, to see, done a survey, what the locals think. Because Asable, I think the Wakanda city is in Cape Coast, which is like a small city in Ghana. But Asable is like a village off Cape Coast, and I don't know, but again, the Chiefs themselves may be thinking of the dollars. They may be thinking what they can benefit. You feel me? Because they're thinking
That's dangerous.
no, the Chiefs themselves may not really care too much what the locals. They may be thinking of what money they can get from this. If they have these celebrities coming over from America and viewing these sites, they're thinking of, oh my god, what access they can get to wealth, money, the gifts they can get, so they may be looking at the money side the same way Dr. Arakana is looking at the money side of things.
Of course. Yeah. Man, I haven't seen you online in a minute. You're gonna be doing lives.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing lives. I was doing live a lot, but I took a break. But I was live last week. So I'm gonna be doing lives again because I
Okay.
have to here the Wi-Fi. I've got Wi-Fi now, and the Wi-Fi's are not like the one in the West where it's like unlimited. The Wi-Fi's are like packages. So
Oh,
it's almost like buying data, but like in a Wi-Fi version. But you get more than you normally get with data. But like I said, the how I say, like I said, I'm gonna tell you the Ghanaians. I spoke to Ghanaians, speaking to more and more. The Ghanaians are split. Obviously, a lot of them don't live near these areas where the foreigners and whatnot are coming, so they know they don't really know what's going on. But those who are a bit, read newspapers or read news on the internet and watch YouTube videos, they seem to be the Ghanaians are split. You feel me? If
right.
I raise a concern, they'll challenge me like, "Oh, why are you against them? You're ungrateful.
Oh.
Some are against me," and it's the same problem the Gambians are
Ah.
facing, where
Mm-hmm.
some Gambians are in support of them being there, and some Gambians are against it. And how I was able to tell, because of these live about automatic citizenship, and one American called in and he had a Zambian sitting next to him. I don't know if you saw that live, and the Gambian was agreeing with everything he said. So it's a bit like the same thing in Ghana, where the Ghanaians are split. Some are in support of it, some of it are against it. Sometimes when you criticize or question it, I don't know. I don't know what they've been seeing on TV, but because the Ghanaian president started this whole thing, he sold it to the people that these are us, these are our people, blah blah blah. They're coming home. That's what they've sold it over to them in the media.
Hmm.
You feel me? That's what they've sold it over to them in the media. But the Ghanaians, should know better, because recently the Ghanaian government closed down Liberia camp, saying all Liberians should go home, and we all know how that war started. So
Yeah.
if anyone should know better, it should be them. But they're being naive about it. They're being, I'm talking about the public in general. They're naive about it, mainly because they've never really been in contact with them, so they don't quite know, you know, what to think of them. Whatever they know now is what the media has shown them, which is the good parts, the
Hmm.
hard work and the hard work and respectful ones that they've been showing them, but they've not shown them what they're really like in London or Chicago or Detroit. What the general population is. So they've not seen the full picture. They just seen half of a certain view of them.
Half of the story. But just like African Parasite said, you know, same situation in Ethiopia, the Rastafarians that moved up there from Jamaica, right now, I mean, I guess for years they've been facing a lot of hardships. They cannot achieve Ethiopian, even like permanent residency. They are considered foreigners. I mean, they came there because of Haile Selassie, but Haile Selassie is not. there. So Ethiopia has its own laws. So this is what I want people to wake up to and realize, man. There are laws in these countries, and you have to, one man cannot make the decision, because at some point it's gonna be a problem. I want Black people in America, especially, to see the people that are trying to hustle them, because something isn't right. Something doesn't seem right, because why are you telling Black people they gotta leave America to go to Africa when everybody in Africa is trying to come to America? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, what the angle that you said it, in terms of a lot of Ghanaians are trying to get into America. They've got long queues outside the American embassy or high commission trying to get like a visa to America, or somewhat. So that is true. One thing I will say, however, is that Dr. Arikana, seems to have, she seems to be almost be like the president or like a vice president of Ghana at the moment, saying all foreigners should come in, buy a house, build a land, and when we're gonna go to the next country in Zambia and Kenya, she's almost behaving like she still has the role in the African Union ambassador. And I think that one of the problems is that she probably made them discuss these things at the African Union, and the African Union has a parliament, the Pan-African Parliament,
Right.
and they probably discuss these type of things Dr. Arikana is talking about. So again, I think Dr. Arikana has overstepped her boundary in terms of her being a foreigner, inviting other foreigners. The problem isn't inviting other foreigners. The problem is saying, come and build your own city. So she's not saying come and city, she's saying build your own city, because once a foreign group builds their own city, they would want to be the mayor of the city. They would want to be MP. They would want to have complete
Maybe Arikana would be the mayor.
And this is something Dr. Arikana is not really stepping back to look at. And Dr. Arikana knows nothing about Ghana. People are saying her husband, she knows nothing about the dynamics of Ghana. You feel me? So at the moment, it's the Fante tribe that are bearing the brunt of this, because it's in their lands that these things are happening. In my tribal land, none of this is happening. We're deep in the interior. We're not on the coast.
Well, you guys are lucky. Maybe that would be the next move, Kwesi.
Yeah, we're deep in the interior, not on the coast. So again, like I'll start speaking to Fanti tribe people a bit more to ask them their take on it and their views on it. But the Fanti chiefs will obviously be rubbing their palms together, thinking of the dollars they're going to be getting.
But if you read all the books, the Fantis, even during the slave trade, they were the intermediaries. They were dealing with the Europeans mostly, and they were the middlemen for the slave trade.
Exactly. A lot of the forts are on their land. On the coast.
On the coast. So, Anamabo and all those other places.
Cape
Coast, Elmina.
All of them are on the Fanta tribe. So yeah, that what you said was very true in terms of trade with Europeans and everything, gold, diamond, guns, trading for everything with the Europeans. They were like the middlemen for the rest of the country between those in the interior and the Europeans on the coast.
Yeah.
But again, I think they've made a huge mistake here. You feel me? They made a huge mistake here in terms of, who are they inviting? Do they know anything about these people? What type of people?
Dr. Arikana would tell them.
Yeah, the thing about Dr. Arikana, she's not a local. She's not even a fancy. You feel me?
Yeah.
She's not even a fancy to be bringing in all these people into that. She's not even Ghanaian of another tribe where we can say, okay, she's Ghanaian. She's not even. If anything happens in Ghana, they would leave. She would pack her bags, go to Zimbabwe as Ghana is in turmoil and there's tensions, whatever. She would leave.
Well, I heard she lives here in the States.
That exactly. So she's basically, I don't know how Zambians and Kenyans feel. I like to hear from African Parasite and Dr. K, Polymath. Dr. K, who's also who's also Kenyan. I like to hear their view in terms of Dr. Arikana looking at after Zambia, they're apparently next. The thing about Dr. Arakana, she has links to African governments.
Well,
You know,
my thing is for me, it seems like a movement to try to separate Black Americans from being American, forcing them to leave a country where this is their country to go live in a place where they would have, as much rights, like they will be second class citizens. You see? Because they cannot vote in Ghana, they can't run for offices, but here in America, they can. So
see,
it's like it doesn't make sense for someone to try to sell them ideas that would take power from them.
you feel me? I'm looking at it from a more, from a more Ghanaian point of view in terms of, how do the locals of Asiba actually think of this? Like their lands being absorbed, because they can buy large chunks of land and you're gonna have two different. It's almost gonna be like the favelas where you have Brazil, you have Rio, the bustling wealth of Rio on one side, and you have the favelas on one side. Because I say it was kind of like a village. I don't know how they're gonna feel about it because the money's not gonna trickle down to them, especially if they don't have land. The chiefs did not
Maybe
take
they would
enough
gentrify it and displace the people.
again, if it comes, it will be at the Asable chief's doorstep. You feel me? Because I'm sure they would have sat down and thought about it before they made the decision. But again, these chiefs have been making bad decisions for hundreds of years. So they're just
Right.
replicating the same mistakes they made and they're just continuing. They should have just kept their mouth shut and, let Ekufuado do whatever he does. He goes out of power and whoever new comes and scraps the whole
Well,
year.
Quiz,
Because
that's why I said the Atlantic slave trade in reverse, because it's the same chiefs who made those decisions as well. So
exactly. It's the same chiefs, it's the same because it's for me personally, you feel me? I've lived with the actual descendants of slaves in the UK, so I know the type of people I'm dealing with. You feel me? I don't really know too much about those in America, what they're like in general, apart from a few here. So I don't really know too much about what the type of people they are. But I think that the Asebu Chiefs have made a big mistake here because I've questioned why Angola isn't doing this. I mean, half of the people slaves taken out of Africa were taken from Angola alone
and Congo,
and Congo Brazzaville.
yeah,
And why isn't Mozambique doing this? A lot of people don't realize Mozambique, Southeast Africa were also part of it.
right.
Why Nigeria, Benin, Togo? I mean, the Dahomey chiefs, they were the kings of whatever happened back then. So none of
Right.
those countries seem to be doing it. So I don't know why the Ghanaian leadership have taken it upon themselves to, save the entire continent or entire group of. I don't know why the
I
Ghanaian leadership.
think it's money.
Yeah,
Money.
I think it could be money.
Money.
I asked, there was one Ghanaian lady who I was debating, saying that Ghanaians don't want them. Then she said, I should, shush because the Ghanaian leadership are doing this for the money. Now, if the Ghanaian leadership are doing this for the money, I don't know if they're doing it for the
It's
money.
definitely not for love, that's for sure.
If the Ghanaian leadership are doing this for money, to what extent? Because how is the money going to trickle down to them?
But African leaders, like generally, that's not how they think. They don't think along those lines.
So one Ghanaian lady did say, Kwesi, I should shush a little bit because the leadership are doing this because of the money. You're thinking of the money. Recently I heard that the biggest hotel in Africa or the biggest hotel in the world in terms of how many rooms is actually being built on the coast of Ghana.
Hmm.
It's being built, is it in somewhere in Accra? One of the
Is that the
coastal.
one Wody Meyer featured?
No, I think the one with the Maya featured was the one in Kwewu. That's deep in the interior, but not that one. There's a new one that I think someone is gonna have 2,000 hotel rooms.
Hmm.
So it's the biggest hotel in Africa. Nobody knows who's building it. I don't know if it's a China, but it seems to be a government led or someone big. within the government with loans from China, building the biggest hotel in Africa with over, I think it's over 10,000 rooms, rooms actually, over 20,000 rooms. I can't remember, but it's one of them. Over 10,000, over 20,000 rooms they're looking to build. So obviously they're looking to build it and appeal, and it's going to be like a tourism where people come and stay there. Obviously, hotel people stay there for 1 or 2 months. So
Hmm.
again, they're thinking of the money they're going to be getting from people coming to stay in these hotels. But this just shows you that some leaderships, whether the chiefs or the actual leadership of the country, are looking at money.
Maybe they're trying to diversify, Ghana's economy to focus and try to make money from this avenue too. But they want to focus on making it about getting the money from, Black Americans.
Yes, because notice how the Ghanaian leadership are not appealing to black Brazilians or black Colombians because they
Or
know they don't have money.
Haitians. No, it's only Black Americans for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. So they're from then on, they're looking at the money aspect of it because they know the other groups in Belize or whatever, those other countries in South America or islands, they have no money in it.
Right.
Basically, be like the average Ghanaian, but they know. So they may be looking at it from a money point of view, and
Well, I mean, if they want to sell it that way to build it, nothing wrong with that. But, you know, people like Eric Garner trying to shame Black Americans, like it just looks too suspicious, to be honest. And because I think they know what, most blacks who would want to go to Africa, what they would want. So they want to kind of sell that to them, because they don't want to go there and feel like tourists. They like, hey, I'm home. So they're lying in that aspect. But if that's what they really want to do, they should build cities to attract people for them to want to come there to visit or whatsoever, instead of trying to, you know, um, it's like it's too vague. It's too vague. And you got this Zimbabwean lady,
so
nobody knows what she's
she,
talking about. It's just too much.
the
Too
thing
much
is,
is
why
hidden.
isn't she pushing this in Zimbabwe? That's the question. Why isn't she pushing? Because she would also have links to the Zimbabwean government for sure, or like ministers or whatnot. She
Maybe
would have
Zimbabwe is not safe like Ghana.
make it safe for them, secure it for them. We've said this to a lot of Africans from Cameroon and Nigeria in these YouTube spaces who said the same excuse saying Nigeria is not safe. And we said, make it secure for them. Why should someone else secure and make their country safe so you can push other people there in that direction? Secure it for them, make it safe for them.
It's
And it, it, it,
it's
it's a
crazy. It's really crazy.
it
But
is.
Quasi, I've been here over 2 hours. I gotta go eat. But
Mhm,
really, thanks for coming, and hopefully, I see you online shortly. One of these,
mhm.
yeah, or maybe tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming, and we're coming to the end of today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, just like you see. Wake up and smell the coffee, people. And they're not doing this to white people in America saying, oh, you relocate to Europe. A white American sees themselves as an American, and you should see yourself the same exact way. The same exact way. You are an American born and raised in America. If you want to visit Africa or other place, do it as an American. But don't let these scammers, MLM schemers. I mean, if it sounds too good to be true, you best believe, you know, it is not in your interest. Just FYI, and also focus on what is happening. Look at what they are doing. When black people speak of reparation, no money, but they are going to give reparation to illegal immigrants. You have to focus on that as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Oh, Audrey said, "Oh, Audrey, go to Nagmizi's channel. He has the video there. You'll see it. the deep frying of the African fish. Yeah, yesterday we had a cookout on the Music channel. If you missed it, you better go check it out. It was an epic exorcism of 2021. Hopefully, that would help cleanse her of all her evil spirits. If you missed it, man, you missed out on a real church moment there. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get out of here. Thanks for coming, and I hope you have a good one.